Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. Recently I got a message from a viewer, Black Salami, and he told me that he was struggling to make a control Paladin deck and wanted to know if I could help him. He's a free-to-play player and this is the deck that he sent me. So I'm going to be going in quite a lot of detail. I'm looking forward to doing this actually, and I'll be explaining all of the different changes I make to the deck and the certain cards. So I'll put in the description, I'll put the time when the game starts, but if you do want to stick around, I think there's quite a lot we can learn about Paladin. So before we take a look at the individual cards, I just want to say, Salami, that Paladin unfortunately is a very expensive class, and let me give you an example of that. This is a control Paladin deck that I'm running at the moment. On the ladder I'm doing quite well with, but unfortunately it is very expensive. So it's got N'Zoth, Uther, Tyrion, Lich King, Sunkeeper Tarim, Steed, Geist, Cairn. There's so many legendaries, Wicked Flame, Burn Bristle. Unfortunately, Paladin is an expensive class to make, but I'll try and make your deck as cheap as possible. I'll do a video on this deck as well so you guys can see how it works. But let's go back and look at Salami's deck. Now I can see you've got Uther of Everblade in the deck, so I can see why you want to make a control Paladin deck. So let's go. I'll go through all the cards and we'll see what changes we can make. Firstly, Blessing of Might. I'm going to take those out. They can be good in certain situations, but in a control Paladin deck, you don't want to have too many cards that you're going to be top decking late game. I mean, imagine on turn 8 or 9, you just top deck a Blessing of Might. It's not really going to help too much. So, Righteous Protector and Argent Protector are two good cards. Righteous Protector particularly, so we'll keep them in. Spellstones, I haven't been able to find a good use for them as yet, and I don't know if we've got enough healing in this deck to make them work, so I'm going to take those out too. Useful Brewmaster is another one which I think we can take out straight away. The problem with Useful Brewmaster is it's better with combo decks. So I understand the value you can get. You play a minion, you get the Battle Cry, you return it to your hand, you can get the Battle Cry again. But I think in a control Paladin deck, that's not the sort of thing we want to be going for. We need to be playing minions onto the board that have value initially. And having this card in your hand, waiting around for the right time to play it, isn't the best thing to do for a Paladin. So let's get rid of those. Lone Champion is a good card. It can be very successful, so we'll leave that in there. Now, Shrieking Shroom has potential to be a good card. But the problem with it is that you're paying 3 mana for a 1/2 plus a random 1-drop, which you never know what that 1-drop can be. And you're not actually going to get that much value out of it because it's very easy to kill it. It's only got 2 health, so the likelihood of it surviving 2 turns is very low. So I'm going to take that out too, and I think a direct replacement for that could be the Harvest Golem. So if you look at this card, it has a Death Rattle of summon a 2/1 damage golem. So for the same mana cost, you're playing a 3 mana 2/3, so you're instantly getting this minion, and then it's got a Death Rattle of a guaranteed another 2/1 minion. So I think that's probably a better way to do it. So let's put 2 of those in for now. I might not end up using that, but we'll see. I'm glad you've got 2 Stonehill Defenders in here because Stonehill Defender is one of the best cards released in Ungoro. So, and the benefit of playing Stonehill Defender in this deck is from it you can discover other Paladin taunt minions. So you can get a Tyrion, you can get Sunkeeper Tarim, you could get the Lich King. So there's lots of good options there. So a really good card to put in your deck if you're wanting to play a control game. I see you've got the Rummaging Kobold in here, obviously to return the Sword of Justice to your hand. And I like the idea. Unfortunately, Rummaging Kobold hasn't really been played that much, and the problem being is that it's a very, very weak minion to play, and you can't play it until another weapon has been destroyed. So it doesn't often contain much value. I'm going to keep the combo here for now. Let's see if I can keep it in the deck by the time we're finished, because it does have potential, these two, as a combo. So I'll leave it for now. Chillblade Champion is pretty good. It is, however, much better if you can buff it. So maybe that was what you were going with the +3 attack 1 mana cards. But it works really well with Blessing of Kings. And it also goes well with your Sword of Justice. So I'll leave that card in there. That is a decent card. Consecration is great, but I think we definitely need 2 of those. Okay, so we got 2 consecrations in. It's really important to have 2 because if you don't have it at the right time, it's really, really frustrating, and having 2 obviously doubles your chances of getting them. I'm going to take out the Kobold Monk. It's got a reasonable stat line. I just don't think that the effect of hero can't be targeted by spells or hero powers, that doesn't really work in this deck. We need to get some good synergies going with our deck, so I don't think this one would work, so I'll take that out. Big Game Hunter. I'm undecided on this card because it's quite expensive to use a 5 mana card to kill a minion with 7 more attack, but I'll keep it in there because we do need some removal. I would never recommend you crafting this and putting it into the deck, but seeing as you've already got it, we can keep it there for now. Now for the Firbolg Mossbinder, I really don't think this is a very good card. The problem is if you don't have any minions on the board, you can't actually play it. Sometimes you don't even want to change your minions because they might have a death rattle or an end of turn effect. So by having this in your deck, it kind of limits the amount of times you will be able to use it. It does work really well if you're planning on trading into an opponent's minion and your minion still survives but slightly damaged, then you play this and change it into a 6/6. That does work. However, I just don't think it's strong enough. So let's take those out. Green Jelly I'm going to leave in. It does kind of fit with the control theme of the deck. Again, this isn't a very strong card. The problem being that it has such a weak body of 3/3, and then the 1/2 with Taunt isn't especially good. But if you've got other minions on the board, it does help to protect them. So let's keep that. Gadget Zan Auctioneer again this is one of the best cards in the game, but it doesn't fit in this deck. You need to have it in a deck that has a lot of spells that can draw cards. Now this deck isn't really the sort of deck that we want to be going for with that. It works better in the Rogue class or the Druid class when you can play some really low cost spells and draw like 4 or 5 cards in a turn. So we'll take that out, but don't disenchant this card. It is a very good one to use for other types of decks. Hungry Etin is not a card that I've used very much. I don't quite like it because it summons a random 2-cost minion for your opponent, and that 2-cost minion could sometimes be a Doomsayer. But I'll leave it in here because it does definitely have a very strong stat line, so we'll leave that there. Guardian of Kings as well is not a very strong card. It's difficult to play 7 mana. Although the restoring 6 health to your hero is really important, the problem is that it doesn't really matter how much health your hero has got. If you're playing weaker minions onto the board, eventually your opponent will just be able to beat you. So I think that's probably why this one doesn't see much play, and we'll take those out. So we need to put 10 cards back in, and now I'll try and keep it as cheap as possible because I imagine that you would have put these cards in already if you had the dust. So the first card I'm going to go for is the Aldor Peacekeeper. Now this is a classic Paladin card. It's very, very strong in my opinion. So and if you haven't got it, crafting it is probably a good idea because I don't think it's going to disappear from the game. I think people will always be playing it. And the reason it's so good is because you can negate an opponent's threat. So the downside is if you used it on the Lich King, for example, the Lich King doesn't lose Taunt and it doesn't lose its effect of drawing them those powerful cards, but it does allow you to trade your minions into his without actually losing the minions on the board. So it really helps you to control the board. So I'm going to put 2 of these in. Hopefully you've got at least one of them. Also, to go with the Sword of Justice and our Rummaging Kobold, I'm going to put the True Silver Champion in. Next, if you want to play a lot of Paladin, you should really craft this Spike Ridge Steed card. So let's put 2 of these in. Now, Spike Ridge Steed is going to be around when the next rotation happens, so it will be in the game, standard game, for a long time. So if you don't have it, I would recommend crafting this. It is a really, really good Paladin card and one which really you need to have in your control deck. Sunkeeper Tarim is excellent. I'm not going to put it in because I'm assuming you haven't got it, but definitely one to aim for. Again, it came from Journey to Ungoro, so it will be in standard for some time yet. Now the next card that I'm going to recommend, unfortunately, is an epic, so it might not be very affordable, but this is a really, really powerful Paladin card because what it does is it recruits 3 minions from your deck that cost 2 or less. So not only does it play these minions onto the board for 4 mana, but it also draws them out of your deck. So that means two things. That means one, you're getting free card draw, and two, it means that you won't top deck these 2 or less minions later on in the game. So when the game goes on and you're trying to control the board, you're drawing your larger minions that you can play. So this card is unbelievably strong. Most people playing it in aggro, but it does really, really work well with control as well. So because of the card draw, I'm going to put 2 loot hoarders in here. So when these come out onto the board with your call to arms, it's excellent because they come out of your deck, you get the 2/1 on the board, and then you draw a card when they die. So that is really, really strong. And another card which makes call to arms very strong is the Dirty Rat. So the Dirty Rat is a 2 mana 2/6 stat line, so it's incredible stat line which has a bad battle cry, or sometimes bad, of pulling an opponent's minion out of their hand. But if you can pull this out of your deck with your call to arms, it is so strong. So I'm going to take out the Sun Fury Protector. Don't think that needs to be here. And I'm going to put the Dirty Rat in. Hopefully you've got this card. If you don't, perhaps it's not worth crafting it, because Mean Streets of Gadgetzan unfortunately is rotating out the standard game in the next expansion. So if you don't have it, I would use something else instead. Maybe just keep the Sun Fury Protector. Right, I've changed my mind on the green jelly. I think we can have some Tar Creepers. And I think as well, I think we have to take out this Rummaging Kobold. As much as I want to do the combo, it's just not going to happen often enough or strong enough. I'm also going to lose the Harvest Golems, actually. I think the Plated Beetle is a better card. It's 2 mana, 2/3, so fairly well statted, with the Death Rattle of gaining 3 armor really is quite strong. And it comes out, it works with our Call to Arms combo too, so we'll put those in there. And finally, what we absolutely need is, we need a board clear. And the reason we need a board clear is because when we come up against Q-Block, for example, we've just got no chance. This deck can't actually win against a Q-Block, because as soon as they put a Void Lord up, it's very difficult to beat them. And the best card for that is Equality. Now, unfortunately, it's a rare, but again, it's a classic card. So if you don't have this, I would recommend just making it, because it works really well if you can Equality, change all your minions out to 1, then you Consecrate, and they all die. So especially if somebody's just played N'Zoth or they've played Gul'dan, if you have a quality Consecration in your hand, their board is finished. So let's put those in. So we'll put 1 Equality into that, and I think I'm going to take 1 Argent Protector out. Actually, we can lose the other Argent Protector, because that will most likely come out with our Call to Arms. And the reason for that is we can put a Spellbreaker into the deck, because that helps with Silence. Having Silence in the deck at the moment is pretty much essential, I would say. So this is the deck. I have had to add 3 epics to it and a few rares. So I really hope you've got the Dust or these cards in your collection already. If you haven't got these cards and you do want to craft certain ones, let me know in the comments. If you just number your epic cards or your rare cards, just put a number by them and then the name of the card. I can then respond in the comments and tell you which ones you should dust and which ones you should keep. So maybe then you can get some extra dust if you want to. It's quite easy to do. All you have to do is in here, you just have to search epic and it shows you your list, or if you typed in rare, it does the same. Because the rarity of the card doesn't necessarily mean that that card is better than the basic cards. Now what's missing from the deck as well is a finisher, and I think the cheapest one we can go for, I think, is the Bone Mare. So let's try and get rid of the Chillbade Champion, because we've got a lot of 4s to play. I'm thinking maybe the Hungry Etin as well. Now let's take out 1 Tar Creeper, because we do have the Lone Champion. And we'll put the 2 Bone Mares in. Although it has just been nerfed, I think that is a very good finish that we can use. Okay, so I'm going to try and win some games now. Unfortunately, this is a very cheap deck for Paladin. We're missing so many legendaries that would make this deck better, but I want to be able to make one that you can potentially try. If you do have any of the legendaries that I mentioned, put them into this deck, because it makes it infinitely better, especially Tyrion or Sunkeeper Tarim. But I hope you enjoy it, and let me know in the comments. I'm more than happy to help you with any of these suggestions. So thank you so much for the suggestion, Salami. I really hope this helps you out and everyone else watching. Guys, if you want me to take a look at the deck in a similar way, I'd be more than happy to. I do really enjoy doing these videos. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next episode.
Uther versus Magni! For Cosmodon! I will fight with honor.
Warrior's going to be an interesting matchup. I wonder if he's playing Dead Man's Hand. Forge of Souls. It's going to be interesting. Just done it. Armor. Shield block. Okay. Right, I'm going to coin this out. Ah. Shame we didn't get our dirty rat, but having 2 card draws is really good. Ouch. Call to arms again. That's pretty strong being able to play that. Although he had a really good answer to our first one. Has he got another Blood Razor? He probably has. Yeah, he's probably going to equip another Blood Razor next turn. Thank you very much. I'll take that.
Reporting for duty. Job done.
Unfortunately, he's probably got another Blood Razor here, which will just kind of get rid of my board again. Oh no, okay. Ouch. But Elder Peacekeeper's really good. I mean, if I just Spike Rich Steed as well. No, let's just use Big Game Hunter.
I've got the beast in my sight.
That's gonna surprise him, because not many people run that card.
The battle.
He did have another Blood Razor.
I don't need any of you. Out of my jungle.
That's not bad. It's a shame we haven't got N'Zoth in this deck. If I play, I might not want to play Tyrion into Tyrion because he could Brawl. It feels like the sort of deck that would have run a copy of Brawl. Okay. So he's going to summon a lot of dragon big minions from his hand. So that's when I want to keep my quality consecration. So let's just Peacekeeper it.
Follow the rules. For me, go away. For justice.
Okay. Let's have the Lich King or something. we've got lethal without that taunt. Oh, we've got lethal anyway, actually. Lethal 5. Yeah, we've got lethal. Only just though.
For justice.
Not a bad first game. Okay, the call to arms in our opening hand again is excellent. Oh, 2. Alright, well, we've got to get there first.
Greetings, friend. Well met. Reporting for duty.
This is a pretty slow start. Okay, that's not too bad.
Mind if I roll knee?
The battle.
I'm going to do that 1 damage there. We've spell damage, I want to clear it, so...
Out of my jungle.
Yeah, let's just go for it.
Hey, give me that!
Okay. It's probably worth me doing consecration here, because I don't want him to evolve that. I'll need to save an equality consecration, or at least an equality for when he does his either thrall turn or doppelgangster turn.
The light dims, but we fight.
Let's see what he does though. Oh no, coin. Has he got coin evolve? Okay, there's nothing we can do about this.
I tried this.
Ooh. Amazing. How ridiculous is that? Come on, get. Well, that helped. Now the problem is he could evolve this and get more, so I do need to kill as many as I can. But I didn't get any good answers.
Let me think.
Yeah, I think I'll just do call to arms. Oh, that's all we've got left.
Mind if I roll knee?
Move quickly.
Hopefully he doesn't have evolve again. Oh, so that... Yeah, it looks like he's got evolve. If he doesn't evolve it, he might do another volcano, and that would be amazing. Oh dear.
Out of my jungle. Follow the rule.
Hey, give me that!
We really need an equality. Just gonna evolve it again. Oh.
My dreaming ends. Your nightmare begins. This world so delicious.
This gives you a good example though of how important equality consecration is, because if we had it in our hand now, none of this would matter.
There once was a man from Gilneas.
Sweet essence. There is little time.
Robbery commencing.
That's not a bad draw, but it's too slow. I'm gonna play it though.
I've got the beast in my staves.
That's 11. Yeah, just kill it.
I've got the beast in my staves. I'm on fire.
He's not got evolve again. Oh, we've been so unlucky with this. Okay, didn't have it. There's the equality.
I see light now. Dinner. Reporting for duty.
You can see why I don't like hungry hitting now. Right, if we draw consecration next turn, we can still win here. He's got so much value for that guy. Oh no, has he got Thrall? No.
Your magic shall not save.
Uh-oh.
I am the frozen heart of the scourge.
Consecration? He's got Yasharaj as well.
None shall pass.
Ah.
Well played. For justice.
Don't say well played yet. I could have got a consecration and then you'd be dead.
The victory is yours.
Ah, the Evolved Shaman rematch. Right, well, let's keep an equality. This is actually a really good hand to have. So in the last match, I don't know whether I made a mistake using the consecration too early, because I did need to use it, otherwise he was going to evolve, and yeah, because he had quite a big board at the time, but oh wow, I got them both again. Alright, so I don't want to draw until I've played this, because I don't want to be pulling out any more of my 2-drops.
Me no crazy, you're crazy.
Some of the 1-1. Ah, that's frustrating. Well, I'll save that then.
Reporting for duty.
Kill his 2-drops.
Job done.
I wonder if he's playing that Wind Fury deck, that one where he's trying to summon all the basic totems. I don't know.
Is someone injured?
Oh man, don't get a healing totem. That would be frustrating. Oh, we've drawn another.
Job done.
We've been so unlucky because now my second call to arms is useless. I haven't got any minions left in there. Ah.
Shiny, shiny, lovely loot.
Okay.
Follow the rules.
stills, but we fight.
I'll save the dirty right for when I get a consecration.
My totems, my pretty totems.
I do need my consecration again. Ah, the other recording.
Mind if I roll me?
For justice.
I killed that because I don't want him to get a healing totem and suddenly draw like 5 cards. I'll silence that. I don't want him drawing any more cards. It's awful draws.
Your magic shall not save you.
For justice. Reporting for duty.
I feel like this deck that he's running is probably going to have Bloodlust in it, so it is important that I killed his taunt totem there.
My totems, my pretty totems.
Oh no.
My pretties.
This is quite a good combo actually. I hadn't thought of this combo.
My
Playing Witch Doctor and then Unstable Evolution. And then next turn playing Bloodlust if you've got it. Yeah, don't trade. Don't trade. He's got to trade. I think he's got Bloodlust, that's why he's thinking that. What? Oh, we didn't. Oh, oh dear.
I ain't talking.
That doesn't help. It doesn't do anything.
Reporting for duty.
Okay. So that makes our consecration much worse. Okay, that's quite nice.
Follow the rule. To battle.
How's he got that? Oh no. There we are.
Reporting for duty.
We're still dead to a Bloodlust. Almost. God. One more consecration and we'll be alright. Oh, he's got Unstable Evolution? No. I'll give him minion +1/+1. Well, my big game hunter works well here. Oh, I can't play both.
I've got the beast in my stable. Reporting for duty.
That was very presumptuous of him. Consecration, please, come on. Oh, yes. That's so good.
duty.
Maybe I should have. Maybe I should have just played Etin and Consecration. That probably would have been better, actually. He did have some 3 health minions. But... oh, yes. Come back. I do need Uther though, because he might have something like Jade Lightning. We've got Bone Mare, we got Uther, we got Spike Steed, we get Sword of Justice.
Reporting for duty.
I might just kill that off. Seems like a waste, but if he does get Bloodlust, it's important.
Me no crazy. You're crazy.
I really need to draw Uther. Oh god. Oh, he's not won yet. That's quite good.
Out of my jungle.
Oh, amazing. We're still in it, guys.
You pay, I protect.
I don't know how I can get through it unless he has got Jade Lightning. Oh, brilliant. I do need to trade though in case he's got Devolve.
The battle.
Because he did play a Devolve earlier. I think. Yeah. Can I just get Uther please and then we win? Another Bone Mare. Have we got Lethal yet? 13. Yeah, this will be fine, I think. 11, 17, 20. Yeah.
Should have paid.
Wow. That's a nice win.